I took a 10-day sound design challenge and it actually worked. Before I prove it to you, here are the rules. Over 10 days, I had to complete these sound design exercises, which were designed to push me to my creative limits, but they still taught me those fundamental skills I needed to become a sound design wizard. The challenges started off easy, but they got harder and harder. But after those 10 days, I was so comfortable in a synth, I was like Gordon Ramsay, blindfolded, slicing through a fish. Wait a second, that was like the worst analogy because it's probably hard to imagine that, right? Wrong. Completing this challenge took me from being an average sound designer and producer who just aimlessly tweaked presets to someone who could remake sounds from other songs just by listening to them. Look, I mean this, if it can work for me, it can absolutely work for you too. So if you're not afraid of a challenge and you want to try this out, let me walk you through it. We're going to start with day one. This whole thing felt very similar to a gym workout where you're working on different muscles each day, but this was like a producer workout. I lift things up and put them down. That was just my horrible Arnold voice. Day one consists of 2 sound design sessions that need to be completed before you can move on to day 2. What you'll be doing is reverse engineering a preset, meaning open up your synth of choice and start sifting through the different presets. And what you're looking for is that one patch you hear and go, whoa, this is sick. I want to learn how to make that sound. And now guess what you're going to do? Learn how to make that sound. You're just going to slowly move through the different parts of the synth and study the settings and parameters. Truthfully, you're just going to be memorizing these knob positions and values the first time, and that's okay. Like, this is your first time doing it. You're not supposed to know what this means yet. So you go through everything you think you haven't memorized. What you're going to do is initialize the patch. Now it's showtime. Try and recreate that patch from memory. No writing anything down. Now, odds are you're going to try. You might come close, but you're not going to get it the first time. Again, that's okay. All you'll do is just open up the preset, study it again, see what you missed, and start over. Initialize the patch, recreate it. You'll just keep repeating this process until you get it. It might take you 10 tries, but eventually you're gonna get it. And think about how cool that is. Now you actually can make that sound you love. Now for the second exercise of day one, it's gonna be the exact same thing, but you need to do it in a different synth. This is meant to build your comfort level across many different synths so you're not a one-trick pony using the same synth over and over. Now I want to help you out and give you some valuable tips for these 2 exercises. First up, you want to try and choose different instruments for each preset that you learn. Bass, leads, pads, plucks, effects. Vary these so you learn how to make many different sounds. Next up, don't pick an extremely complex preset. I wasn't comfortable in synths when I took this challenge, and I made it 10 times harder for myself because I chose this really complex sound thinking I'd be able to remake it. There was just too much going on to memorize all that shit in the beginning. Down the road, however, that patch might be easier to make as you understand more and more, so choose something easy. Then another tip would be to study how each parameter affects your sound as you're tweaking it. Even if you're just memorizing number values right now, you want to start to create that association of how each knob affects your sound. To do this, just mash on your keyboard and turn those knobs. This is really going to help you down the road when you get to those harder exercises on days 5 to 10. Day 2 is going to be an exercise you've probably done before, but there's a twist. You're going to hop on YouTube and find a sound design tutorial or a remake tutorial that you want to learn from. For example, it could be a video on how to sound like deadmau5 and Cascade, or it could be a more genre-based tutorial, how to make a tech house bass inside of Serum. You're going to watch the video, follow along, and make that patch with them. And don't take the bait of downloading the free preset in the description. You want to learn how to do this yourself. Once finished, you're going to save the preset and then guess what you have to do? That's right, initialize the patch and recreate it. Once again, you're probably not going to get it on your first try, and that's okay. You'll just load the preset up again, see what you missed, and try again. Just keep repeating the process until you get it perfect. And that is when you could move on to rise and shine, my fellow sound designers. By day 3, those sound design muscles are probably a little bit sore, maybe a little bit tight. Let's start with 3 sets of mouse clickers to loosen up those fingers, followed by 3 sets of blue blockers, on and off, on and off, on and off. Now that you got those out of the way, let's attack day 3. You're going to start off as a repeat of day 1. Find 2 presets you like, study them, initialize the patch, recreate them. Same rule applies, use a different synth for each patch that you recreate. Now, the extra step you're going to take is you need to choose 2 different instruments than the ones you created on day 1. So let's say you made a preset from the bass and lead categories on day 1. You have to go in a different direction for this exercise. Maybe it's a pad and a pluck this time. This is going to force you out of your comfort zone, which is good. It also teaches you how many different sounds are made. Once again, stick with some basic patches for this exercise. There are harder challenges coming. This is your time to really just build a good foundation. If you're able to complete these 2 presets from scratch, make them sound perfect, you're ready to move on. Before we get into day 4's exercises, which does include something new, here's a quick heads up. You're gonna have a midterm tomorrow. This is like school again. This sound design challenge comes with a midterm. So this is our last chance to tune our shit up, get it right. And I personally love day 4 because it introduced my favorite exercise of the entire challenge. So this day consists of 2 parts. The first, you're familiar with already. It's gonna be another YouTube tutorial. Just like you did on day 2, you're gonna find a sound design or remake tutorial, follow along, make the patch with them, initialize it, recreate it, and get it perfect. If you don't, you just keep trying until you do. Once you complete that, you can move on to the next exercise, which is your first introduction to the creative sound design session, my favorite by far. What you're gonna do is put 15 minutes on the clock, start from a blank patch, the initialized patch, and just create. Oh, you mean create something amazing? No. You might, but that's not the objective. Turn knobs, experiment, have no fear. You literally can't go wrong or mess this exercise up. Because there's no pressure of having to deliver an actual sound at the end of those 15 minutes, it allows you to freely move through the synth without having to worry about fucking things up. This is a huge part of sound design, experimenting. You turn knobs and those happy accidents turn into your lead synth, your bass patch. So after 15 minutes, if you have something cool worth saving, save it. If not, no worries. You still completed the session, and I guarantee you learned something. Day 5, the halfway point, which means today you have to complete a midterm exam. Sounds scary, right? It's not. What you need to do is create at least 3 of the 6 patches you made over the first 4 days based off of memory. Okay, you could also listen to the patch. You don't have to do it purely off memory. But do not look at the settings. So it's memory or by ear. And I'll know if you cheat. Because you're watching this video right now, I'm actually able to track everything on your computer. Stop. Bad joke. Don't leave. It'll hurt my retention. YouTube will fuck this video. Nah, you could like and subscribe while we're here. Let's say you do create at least 3 of those 6 patches. You're ready to move on to the next day. But if you fail, unfortunately, you need to go back and learn how to make those sounds again. The most important thing is you improving here. It's not about just moving on for the sake of moving on. You want to learn how to make those sounds. So go practice again, take the midterm again, and I promise you, you're gonna get this. Just keep repeating until you eventually pass. The next 4 days follow a very similar schedule, so let me lay this out for you. First up, you're gonna have a 15-minute creative sound design session on all 4 days. This is the one where you just blindly turn knobs, try and create something unique. You can go crazy, there are no rules. Then, on days 6 and 8, you're gonna go back to remaking a preset from your synth library. However, this time, you wanna challenge yourself. Hopefully by now, you're feeling a little bit more comfortable in the synth. It shouldn't be as hard to look at a patch, memorize the settings, and understand what's going on. You're probably starting to pick up on some of those trends. So study that complex synth sound, initialize the patch, and then recreate it. And just keep trying until you get it. Then on days 7 and 9, you're going to add the YouTube exercise in addition to your creative session. So quickly, day 6, create a complex sound, recreate it with a creative session. Day 7, recreate a sound from a YouTube tutorial, then do a creative session. Day 8, remake a challenging preset, then do a creative session. Day 9, another YouTube one that you're gonna make with a creative session, which finally takes us to this is where shit gets hard, but you're ready for it. This is where you show your parents you haven't been wasting your life in your bedroom, in your underwear, making bleeps and bloops for nothing. This is your time to shine. In order to complete this 10-day challenge, you need to pick a song and remake it by ear. And because this 10th challenge is the hardest by far, I've made an entire video for it. Tap the video on the screen right now and watch me complete this 10th and final challenging exercise as I create an entire drop by ear. My ears are pretty big to begin with, so I think I have an advantage over everyone. Doesn't matter though, tap it. I'll see you over there.